I'm the next 10 minutes of sleepless forget that keeps you up at night, and genuine human person, Kenny Leoncito, and today I'm going to be filming a tutorial and teaching you the tips and tricks of how I usually do my lineless character design stuff. So, I'm not a professional. I'm just a meme with a dream, full of sin, ready to win. And I have nothing planned. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm not gonna edit. I'm gonna try my best not to edit this, and I'm just gonna be talking for the next 10 minutes, shedding insight, spilling secrets, giving you the truth, because that's what I'm here for. I'm just here today to be a teacher, a mentor, a lover, a dancer, the whisperer of men, the hope of children everywhere, and I just want to do my best here. So when I start off with a character design, I consider the character's personality, and I try using shape and silhouette to bring that out. So the character I'm drawing is Bernkastel from my favorite visual novel, Mineko no Nakaparani, and all you have to know is that she is like this gloomy goth witch with some catch attributes. She is just this chaotic evil mess, and you wouldn't really suspect it of her in the beginning because she is just, I don't know, she just has this kind of really quiet, passive personality. And I wanted to use like her hair to be like this big shadowy veil looking thing. It's not that big in the anime. I just wanted to play that off, and because she has like this doll-like characteristic, I'm going to be using proportions such as accentuating her skirt and giving her like these big dull black eyes because she has that, she's going for that look, she's going for that aesthetic. Okay, so yeah, and with shape, it's just really important when you're doing a character design to have like nice, interesting shapes and have a varying silhouette. Coming from me, I always just draw the same silhouette, but that is the theory, that is the truth behind it all, that is the secret. Secondly, what I want to talk about with you right now is one of the things I advocate the most when I do my digital paintings is remembering that there are only 3 free things in life: the pursuit of happiness, regret, and free layers. Like, layers on Photoshop are free, so use them to your advantage, please. Like, my projects can go up to like 300, 400 layers. I have a friend, she says she goes up to 1,000 layers, and it's like, you know what, like, do what you have to do. When I do my work, it's just layer on layer, separating everything as I can, like the back of her hair, the top of her hair, the face, keeping it into nice folders, so then you can edit and play with it whenever you want, and just changing the blending modes, and just working with it. So, speaking of blending modes, when I generally do like a process of something, I block in the shape with a semi-opaque brush that has a nice texture. So my favorite brushes include like, it's in the Kyle brushes, it's called Gua Sha Go Go. Another one's Deliciously Dry, that's really opaque. I like using the watercolor brushes sometimes, but they're all very reliable, very good brushes. And I like using some of the Helen Chen brushes too. There's like this nice angled brush. I use that all the time when I'm blocking it. I think you can see it right now. And I block it in, and I choose a color that matches the palette that's going on in my head. I think for this palette I was going for like using like a dark neutral blue and then pairing it with like a pinkish orange looking thing for the lighting. So for instance, let's talk about that ribbon that I'm drawing right now. The ribbon color in the reference is like this bright blue. You saw it for like a second in that reference, but I'm using a neutral blue because the palette that I've set so far called for that. And then for the shadow, I went in, I mimicked what was happening in the hair, And what usually happens is sometimes I'll take a complementary color of the base color. So if it's blue, I'll use like a neutral brown to shadow. And then I'll go into the deeper shadow of that for like more details. And then I'll use the lighting that I want and use like a linear dodge. I'll lock the layer and then I'll go over with a nice textured brush to go over it. And let's see if I do that the same with the dress. So I put in that color that sets apart from the background. Oh, for lineless, it's so important when you have to have a variation of value and saturations to set things apart. You don't have lines to separate things, so you have to rely on your sense of color, squinting your eyes to see where the value is. And yes, just doing your best to make it look interesting, making it look visually appealing, and making it make sense. So there I have, as you can see, that shadow over there is a nice dark brown, but the dress itself is like a neutral, like navy blue, and then the lighting is like this pinkish purple. When it comes to that skirt or other attributes, I think I have it for all, like the skirt and the sleeves. I wanted to be more graphic with it. I think that's really, it's nice when you see a character design get a bit more artsy and graphic instead of like trying to really understand that shape. So for the skirt, for instance, I tiered it in terms of color, and like just using a palette that I thought was really interesting, and then using a gradient to suggest that a shadow is falling from the top of the skirt onto the bottom of the skirt. I guess it really wouldn't, I mean, I guess it does make sense a little bit, but I don't know, I just want to have a really cute design. And then using transparency, like erasing those little things to make a little design, to make it look interesting and fun. So we've covered layers, we've covered shape design, and we covered values a little bit. I guess in terms of if you want like the deets on how I really do like everything in terms of like what I type in and what I click, I don't use a lot of short keys. All I do is like the transform tool sometimes, or like the select tool, and undo, of course. But when it comes for like this hand, for instance, I drew it in and then I locked the layer using the little square button thing, and then I used my a brush to do all the colors and then some details and doing a little bit of lining here and there. But it's all within a locked layer. And the same goes for that sleeve over there. And the sleeve underneath that, that's just a different layer, but I lock it afterwards and I do a little gradient. Sometimes whenever I do shadows, I'll do a clipped layer on top of it and set it to multiply, and then use a green neutral tone for my shadows, or a red neutral tone for my shadows. But sometimes I'll do it right on the layer. I'll just change the blending mode of my brush. Blending modes are a savior. Please use them. It just makes your life a lot easier than having to, I mean, if you're hardcore, then go ahead and just like color select everything by yourself. But honey, in this economy, time is precious. There are, like, I'm just a meme on a budget. I'm a meme on a schedule, and I have things to do. So use those clip layers. Use as many layers as you want. Like, a girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do. We're coming to the end of the video, and I just want to tell you the big secret, the big Kenesu brand secret of how I make everything else work out. So, when the painting's done, which it's about to be finished like in a few seconds after tirelessly color selecting everything, I put everything in a cute little folder, and then I duplicate that folder. Yes, and then I merge that folder, and then I Gaussian blur that, and then I make an overlay of it and reduce the opacity so it pops just enough. And it has like a nice glow. Sometimes the details are blended in, which is nice. It makes it nice and soft. And it makes the dark colors darker and the lights lighter. And there you have it. A Kenesu brand character design illustration. I hope I helped you out. Have a lovely Sunday. XOXO.